the 13th of May, 1940. At 0100 hours in the Arctic twilight, the 13th Demi Brigade of the French Foreign Legion and 5 Hotchkiss tanks were successfully put ashore by British landing craft near Bjarkvik, northeast of Narvik, at the head of the Rangsfjord. After overcoming the local German defenses, 1 Legion battalion and 2 tanks moved to Elvegarsmoen, a mobilization and supply center for the Norwegian 6th Brigade, captured by elements of the 2nd Mountain Division on the initial day of the German invasion. Liberating the weapons depot would provide much needed arms and ammunition for the Norwegians, who were continuously engaged in mountain warfare with the Germans as part of the Allied attempt to regain control of Narvik. Today's After Action Report is episode 10, Strangers in a Strange Land, ASL 75. That's right, 75. This is from the QuadGuerre module in 1998. This is not the reprinted game that was just resurfacing in the QuadGuerre 2020 edition. I'm not sure if they made any changes to it. Don't know. But you might want to check out your own scenario card and see if there were any significant changes, either in the scenario special rules, which we cover, or otherwise. Anyway, let's head to the battlefield and Vive la France! Welcome to Norge, Uelbegosmon, and ASL 75, Strangers in a Strange Land. It's going to be a cold one today, so I hope you brought your smocks, your parka, and some of that hot coffee and tea. We're going to get down and dirty, and hopefully root those Germans from our weapons depot. Let's go into the scenario details. Here we have the German setup. All these units start hip on board that you see here. Let me zoom in on this. You've got 3 half squads, 2 full squads, medium ATR, couple leaders, minor leaders, and a mortar. The mortar's interesting. It can actually prove very useful due to its rate of fire of 3, pounding your units as they cross open ground. These guys are hidden, so I'm just going to delete them. Boom. On turn 4, let me remove our beautiful, beautiful picture of Bjarkvik. Thank you, Bjarkvik, for allowing us to view your beautiful environs. That's just gorgeous. The gorgeous land up in Norway. Gorgeous. Here are the Germans' 4 squad reinforcements up here. 1-8 - 1 leader. LMG demo. Demo can be useful. Very good because we're going to be in a wooden buildings all around. And it's going to be close in fighting. So again, I'm just going to delete the... I will not delete those because I think they were in the OB. So I don't want to delete them. I don't want them to get off the map. So my French sniper, I think I put up here, close to the building on the backside. Low sniper value. It's going to be erroneous. So my plan, as the French in this one, is move my units, move them as fast as possible. My tanks and some squads will come down the main road, split. Some will cross the dry creek, and the tanks will either take positions up here and here and shoot at targets of opportunity, primarily with their machine guns, because it's going to be hard to hit infantry in the stone buildings, or not in the wooden buildings. 1-man turrets, got to be buttoned up. Infantry base 8 to hit at a range of greater than 6. It's going to be 6, I think, for the red to hit number, so very low. +2 TEM, +1 for the button up. You do the math. Not going to hit that much. I'd rather just fire the machine guns 2+2 or 3+2 or whatever they are. I think they're 2+2s. I think they are 2+2s. Yes, 2+2s. So don't mind that. We have plans for the AFVs. I'll get to that in just a second. So primarily, again, moving units up to the side, up the roadway if I can. The roadway is plowed. There is ground snow, so that will increase movement factor costs going up and down, which is going to be a bear going into the -1 depression and then out. So this is going to cost a lot. It's pretty much, it's a 1 to 2 hex movement in a full movement phase, which leaves us vulnerable to any fire that we may get from the Germans up top. So they're going to be firing down on us. Machine guns, maybe fire lanes, what have you. Hopefully our 8 morale will win the day for us. Now on the left-hand side, I'm going to have some troops some infantry troops coming this way. Not all of them. The bulk of them are going to skirt around the backside of the hill. It's going to take me maybe a little while longer, but I'm taking the big boys, the big guns, and we're coming around the backside. Now let's move up a little bit further, and we can see a little bit more detail why. Okay. So the Germans could set up anywhere on the board in buildings on that top board. I think it's board 22. All buildings are wooden. Victory conditions are the French win if they're the only side with an unbroken multi-man counter in the big giant building right there. And we'll get into some scenario special rules in just a second. So actually we'll just get into it right now. Like I said earlier, weather is ground snow. Let me move this, and then we'll just get rid of it. Let me just put it up here. Weather is ground snow. Kindling and entrenchments are non-applicable. It's frozen tundra, and kindling is -2 wet, so you're probably not going to burn anything anyway. Germans are considered commandos for scaling purposes. Only B23.424. Okay, who gives a crap about that, Stu? We'll get to that. No AFB may enter any hex of building 22F4. What does that mean? No sleaze freeze. When the Germans just retreat that building, no sleaze freeze possible, so you jump them. All right, let's go back to the commandos. Because no sleaze freeze is possible, and most likely the German will be defending multi-tiered in that building, the French have a high probability of gaining ground level. Say, Stu, who cares? You got to clear them out of the building anyway, right? Right. Problem is a typical non-commando force will be considered encircled by having all ground level stairwells. In this case, stairwells are access, you know, controlled by the enemy player. It's not, they cannot create a path free to the ground level. So therefore, a normal non-commando unit would be encircled. The commando unit can be encircled if, like, say he's at second level and you've got the ground levels there, and he can't derive a path down the side of his building which doesn't pass an enemy unit. So if he's up on level 2, I'm on level 1, and he could, you know, commando scale to level 0. If he has to pass me going down there, that will be grounds for encirclement. But if I'm not on level 1 and I'm on the other levels, on the other part of the building, say I'm on these part, let me make that bigger. If I'm on these parts of the building, and let's say I control the ground levels, and he is in this location here, but like on level 2, he's not considered encircled because of the commando rules. And if none of my units are anywhere in ground, first or second level, second level doesn't really matter, ground or first level, and he's on second level, if none of my guys there, then that is a clear path for a commando. Interesting rule. Essentially, it just makes him immune to encirclement. In terms of just by screwing with the ground level. Regular encirclement rules still apply to them. So that's very important to note, that encirclement does apply, and just essentially not upper level encirclement to an extent. Read up on those rules. That is not B23.424. That is the encirclement section. And based on the commandos there, it says exception commandos, tracing a path. So anyway, read the details. It's good reading. Encirclement's always good to read. Anyway, my troops. Oh, hello. Gotta love the editing. My troops going to be coming around here, and the reason why I'm coming around here in force is most of these spots are going to be out of LOS to any units up on the second level, simply because it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that will create an extra blind hex for fire that's going past that tree right there. So that's good to know. So I could skirt back here, get into these buildings, down and up, and then I'm in firing position on the building. So that's good to have. You need to have fires on the building. I'm also coming over in this area to sweep. It's possible that he may throw an errant half squad over here, like I might put an errant half squad over here, so when these guys break, when I catch fire from here and these guys break, he pops up and they can't route, and so it's bad. And using a half squad for that, not really a bad idea, especially if you put him at level 1, because if he's at level 1 in this location, he can see down into the gully, which means, yeah, he can't even route this direction. That's considered open ground. So that would be a low crawl, or yeah, the low crawl, or just a regular route, and that would be 3 movement factors to go there, and then 4 or 5 to here, and he won't even be able to make it up to these locations in a normal route phase, simply because of the ground snow increasing the movement factor cost for elevation change. So that's one thing I didn't want to fall into, so I just wanted to have my back clear, overwhelm the area with the force, have my back clear, and see what he does in terms of defensive fire. My tanks, very ineffective against the infantry, so I have 2 of them. I did make a mistake at the beginning of the game, and you'll see it. They are radioless. You need to bring them on in platoon movement. I failed to do that. But my objective with the tanks, because their firepower is limited, drive them through, get to a point where I can be behind them, let's say bypassing this location here maybe, on that hex side, with a covered arc like this, or a covered arc down this way, and simply keeping, more likely I'll probably be in the other part, simply keeping units DM'd. If I can cover these 3 hexes here with a tank, let's say that was placed in I-8 right up the top, right? He's got LOS to all 3 of those locations, all 9 locations, right? We're talking right there. Anybody DM on that side, I could keep them DM by continuing to fire them with a simple machine gun 2+2. Not a problem. He's not going to come out of the building likely to kill me, especially if I have units here and here guarding that path there. This path here, he's not going to cross that to go kill a tank. He's just going to stay in the building and try to rally. The other tank is going to try to do the same thing, but from this location. So he could fire in this line of fire, level 1 locations here. So essentially this tank covers these 9 locations, and this tank covers these 6 locations. That only leaves him a few locations and that he can hide from the tanks, but he's not going to be on ground level because my guy's going to be coming and assaulting on ground level. So ground level is not an issue. Only the higher levels up. If I keep them DM, if I got 2 shots, keep them DM'd, he's only going to have 2 or 3 leaders, so he's not going to split up all of his forces all over the place to be able to self-rally everybody. It's not possible. That's the plan. Let's see how it goes. I expect also to get tanks and infantry in these locations here to give me some shots on his units that are coming in here. So when he comes in from the top, he'll likely take the shortest route, right? Maybe some bypassing, get directly into the backside of the building. If I could take some units, put them in a couple buildings right here, and provide me a couple shots on a couple key open ground locations, it's going to make it more difficult for him to do that. That's the plan. That's the plan. Surround with tanks, give supporting fire for troops that's going to stop the defenders getting into the building, and then everybody else has got to take the building. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough. So we're going to start the game with that in mind. Let's go to, so we'll go directly with the, obviously, rally phase. 8 turns long, so you do have time to get there. I think you get there by about turn 5, and the last 2 to 3 turns is essentially clearing out the building. It's only a +2 building, not a +3, so it's not that difficult. He does have 8 morale, but it shouldn't be that difficult to generate morale checks. I mean, if I get an 8 and an 8+2, I think I got a -2 leader. Really strong leadership, I think. And lots of leaders, lots of units. So we'll see how it goes. So let's start up that log file, and we'll just get it going here. We'll just get it going. And one thing I was interested in doing is moving my tanks. You'll see my guys moving. The French only get half their movement points or movement factors on the turn 1. I'm afraid of his medium machine gun being an F3. I'm afraid of that medium machine gun being right here, or here, or here. Anywhere where he can see where he can essentially cover any of these locations where my infantry will likely be going through. Since I'm coming off board, he can bore sight any of those hexes with his medium machine gun. Obviously his mortar will not be able to bore sight it because of the walls that are right here, but the medium machine gun on level 1 or 2 can see over most of that terrain and bore sight in those key areas, and that's what I'm anticipating. So let's go there. That's why I didn't really want to send a lot of leaders there. You'll just see some smatterings of squads. I didn't want to commit too many guys over there. So let's continue with our log. And again, both tanks needed to move on. He doesn't reveal anybody yet. Let me zoom in. Let me get rid of our special rules here. Okay, maybe not. There you go. Let me get rid of those, and let me zoom in just a little bit more. Okay. Oh, there it is. 120. All right. So, tank moves up, tries to take position in forward location. Again, if he fires, I want my tanks to be able to be there just to harass him. Say no free shots. I'm CXing them, although I only have 2 movement factors because it's half my movement factors. I can CX and get the full benefit from that. So essentially, I still get my 4 movement factors, but I just have to be CX the first turn. Now, I didn't know this until after I played this game, but this game does have a scenario replay like in one of the old annuals or one of the old generals or some old ancient tome that was released by Avalon Hill like 100,000 years ago, before the first civilizations were created. And the strategy used in those games was deploy everyone and have an army of half squads. Yeah, that can work. To me, it's kind of boring and gamey, but it can work. Your range is only going to be reduced a little bit. Your firepower is actually going to remain the same. You're not losing any firepower. So essentially with 4.58s or like 4.47s in your typical OB, you know, that's the these are Axis binars. I'm not sure if my morale goes up. I think that my morale does go up. Increased by 1 simply because I think the French Foreign Legion. The French Foreign Legion, morale goes up by 1. So your half squads aren't going to be at so much a detriment as a typical French or Allied minor half squad. So that is a decent strategy to use. You got to sit around and make task checks all the time and move tons of units. Good, you know, it's a strategy. Should I have employed it here? Maybe, sure. Maybe I can employ it later and see what happens. So all my guys CX, they all bunch up and they all get under the tanks. Remember, if you're under the tanks, you get the +1 for the tank in the phase after the defensive fire phase. So it's not too bad. Of course, my main armament malfunctions. He does fire. Actually, he pulls up a unit here. I don't think he fires, but I think I get like a. I'm not sure why he exposed himself. To be honest with you, the log file's a bit old, but anyway, I'm not sure what that MA is. But area fire, because it's much easier to hit, and then you'll take like a 4+2 or what's the 37 chart? It's on a 4 chart, so that'd be 2 + 2. 3 or 4. 3 or 4 gets a pin task check or a morale check. So not horrible. It's like a mortar firing at a tank. So our tank moves up, and again, that's the first unit seen there. This is the second turn. And to be honest with you, the main armament malfunction, not an issue in this game. Not an issue in this game. Say, Stu, yeah, it is. I mean, you're gonna be firing 4 firepower, and you're gonna lose lots of firepower. The point is the tank, if the tank wants to DM someone with the main armament, he has to hit. Don't have to hit with the machine gun. You just fire it and they get DM'd. So the main armament, not a big deal. Not a big deal. You just, at this point, you just can't repair it because you need the machine guns to DM units, and pretty much you could try to encircle somebody in the building. Hard to. But the 2 machine gun firepower factors is critical and key. The main armament is honestly secondary. With these Hotchkiss 39s, 4 armor, pretty much impervious to everything that the Germans have. They have an ATR. It's not going to do anything. He has to roll like a Snake Eyes or a 3 to get anything of any real result. And I have a superstructure armor is increased, so he has to hit the hull to get anything. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. I'm really not worried about any anti-tanks. But the problem is I need to be able to roll task checks to move them. They do have a good movement rate of 12 for the early French armor. These H39s are really not too bad. So my units are just moving over here. Let me see what we got going on over here. I've got a mortar that I'm taking up there. It's like DM. I got this DM. My mortar's just gonna sit up here. That's why it's hip right there. It reminded me that I need to take my mortar right there. And then my mortar will be used. It could fire down this side and down this side and anywhere on the front row. 60 millimeter mortar, 3 rate of fire. You got to get that thing up and going quickly. So we'll over here on the left hand side, we've got the 9-2 Senac, and we've got Lafleur on this other side. Spread them out a little bit just in case I don't get popped. Lafleur's got a DM MMG, two squads. So I split them up a little bit. We got a couple guys here, and we've got Renault in the back. 9-1 for any of these guys get popped. They come back, and the -1 will help in getting them up as soon as possible. There's no rally terrain there, so to speak, unless DD7, Z4, and then the only other rally terrain we're going to have is when we actually reach the village. Problem with that is he's going to be in range and he's going to be shooting at us. So pretty much they're going to be under DM status a lot, unless they kind of route into the gully area out of LOS. But could be a difficult situation. 8 morale should carry the day. Let's continue the log. I'm advanced firing. Say, Stu, what the hell are you doing here? I'm taking pot shots like at P1. Just for the heck of it. His sniper is so low. Don't really care what his sniper is. It's a 3. I'll take a 3. I have so many half squad simulators, no tanks. It's not gonna hurt him. Gotta take some pot shots to clear some of these areas out. Again, I think that it might be a good idea, like a 248 right here, or hell, even an LMG can generate a fire lane down this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. An LMG can generate a fire lane the entire way down that row. It's just ridiculous. I mean, that will stop pretty much my whole defense. If it's an MMG, he could generate a fire lane the entire way, pretty much across the board. So that's free shots that he can take on my entire advancing force, which pretty much is like a French human wave. So we need to deal with that as it comes along. And so I want to try and get as many shots off as possible so I can clear those units out. Now we're just advancing up. Boom, boom, boom. I don't think it's Axis turn 2 prep fire, new prep fire, movement phase, nothing. I'm just going to defensive fire on this guy, defensive fire on other random shots. He backs up so he doesn't get destroyed. I just continue to fire on that location there to get acquisition so he doesn't freely move back there. He could obviously move to F3 here. Not a big deal. But that's one less location that he can shoot from. So, and that's what he does. He moves back to that location, and I just fire on him in that location. Continue the acquisition. Gust appears. It comes up. I have smoke making capabilities. It's a 1. I'm not going to worry about it. He has a smoke making capability of 2 from grenades from his 4.68s. It's probably not going to be an issue at this point. He wants to stay hidden as long as possible. Not sure why we're bouncing around the magic ball. And here comes his fire lane. He has an 8-1 here, 4.68, and he shoots the fire lane down this left-hand side. Let me pop that fire. Oh, there. Yeah, there's no free fire lane there. So we'll get the fire lane will be along. Let me pop this. The German fire lane will be firing along this hex row and on this side. So it's going to be bouncing down like this. Let me make that a little more clear. So his fire lane is going to go like this, which is going to help encompass, you know, if this unit moves out, if this unit moves to DD1, he'll take a shot. That's a free shot based on the alternate fire lane. If he moves past that side of the fire lane, he'll take a shot. If he moves to BB1, he won't take a shot. But if he moves a DD1, he will take a shot after he lays the fire lane. Not sure if he fired on him or the guy in the back. I don't recall. But that's what we're going to do. So that stops a couple units from possibly like the 468 down here, possibly moving over that direction, sort of thing like that. It's a good idea. LMG, use your fire lanes, put them down. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. And like I said, I think I do take a couple shots on that. And so, but yeah, again, he's revealed some more guys. I run right through it. He has his mortar now. His mortar takes a pot shot. His mortar's way back here. Do you see it way on the top? He takes that shot when my unit goes down there. That's a nice little, I think that's a bore-sided hex. You see the -2 right there. That's his bore-sided mortar hex. So I think he missed. He may have missed. But again, the 2 firepower on the 8 morale unit, not that big a deal. We just, again, anytime we have a morale check, we just gotta hope to pass them. We just have to hope to pass them. So let's continue on. This is the French turn 3. So we're moving up through here. Again, we're clearing out that left-hand side. We have to. It's going to take about the same amount of time anyway, because I'll get that advance up, and these guys are just going to be the engaging force initially. And then right here, I'm moving all my units up on that left-hand side over there on the left-hand side alone. So Senak doesn't. So he doesn't have a giant stack to shoot at. He's got no one at the upper level except for actually he's at level 2 and actually did break him. Some shot actually broke that unit. So kudos to those shooters. And he's only got an LMG, so his medium machine gun is still active. We want to avoid the medium machine gun, and it's likely on this side somewhere over here, obviously, because you can't just jam everybody up in the front and not cover the flanks. But we still have to move. Senak moves. He pops his 9-1 leader right there because pretty much that's the only spot that I can get shot at. That is a clear LOS. That's a really good LOS. You can see that there. It clears the hill. Pretty crazy. And I think he bore-sighted that hex. So, yeah. I'm thinking that he bore-sighted the hex. So that he's taking a shot there. And he rolls a 10 on his attack dice roll. So he gets a task check on me. I roll Snake Eyes for Senak. He's badass. And then I roll a 5 for the leader. But he leaves residual because he rolled a 10. And Senak just continues on because he's first fired. And I just ignore the medium machine gun at that point. So let's get a little closer over here. We've got the mortar could fire on that flank on the right-hand side. Good spot for the mortars and concealment terrain. And it covers pretty much all that open ground to get a couple free shots. Nothing's wrong with that placement. That's a good placement. Let me try and get that on there. Here we go. This should pretty much get all the boy. So he fires on here again. Couple shots, no effect. All my guys advance fire with no effect. And then we just go advance phase. Let's scroll this up. And it is the end of German turn, or Allied turn 3 again. I said maybe five turns to get to the building. I'm pretty much at the building at the end of turn 3. So you've got 5 turns to clear that sucker out. At the beginning of turn 4, the Germans are going to come on. So I need my tanks. Unfortunately, I think I may have prep fired my tank, done something stupid like that, and delayed. These guys, I think I missed task checks on this unit down here, like 2 turns in a row. Right then, the plan's kind of falling apart. This one right here, obviously main armament, not worried about it, but I really don't want to kind of send him alone. And so hopefully these guys can get up there and support the troops. Again, in their plans to be on either side of the building and continue to DM the units that break due for my infantry fire. I have a lot of firepower here, and they're in +2 buildings. He doesn't have quite a large number of units. It's just I need to get those shots off and break them and keep them broken, and then we can win. Again, we don't need them dead or gone from the building. We just need them he needs somebody that's unbroken. So if we break them, all the multi-man counters, we got it going. And that's another thing the German can do, is because he doesn't lose firepower either, and his range is very short around this area here, he can essentially just split up all of his squads into half squads and just, fill up the whole stupid place and essentially block you from moving and getting into the building. I mean, he's got He's got 4 squads here. That's a potential of 8 half squads. I mean, you get 4 in one level, 4 in the bottom level, and then these guys here could be on the top level. I don't even know what the hell you would do at that point, to be honest with you. I'd love to play this scenario again to see exactly that point. But let's continue. I digress. So we've got more units. He's moving now, taking some shots at him. No real effect on these guys. I have a couple good shots here and there, but nothing really comes available. And then so it's ally turn 4, movement phase. Don't do, I do just a couple, I think a couple of, yeah, the mortar preps. Doesn't do a lot, but we continue. The 60mm mortar, pretty good. I just start moving my units. I have to rely on my 8 morale to get me to my destination. He drops down another fire lane, which is fine. And again, the bouncing ball. I think this guy takes a K. Yeah, he rolls a 4, so he's a K. He's a K1 probably. DM in there, bypasses. He first fires. I need to get close, relying on my morale. I can get on that wall right there, the hedge rather, simply because he's in the building and has not claimed wall advantage. So at least I'll get the +1 from the wall. That's a huge boost for me. Again, these guys go in here, take like a one down whatever. What do you roll in that one? Infantry die roll, a 7. He rolled a 7 on the 2, so that's a 5 on the 2, which is a normal morale check. And you'll see a recurring theme where I, for some reason, like to roll 9s on my morale checks. So he breaks. He shouldn't be breaking normal morale checks. The 8s, they should be practically immune. You know, 25%. My tank comes up just to get point blank on him, just to try and reduce some of that, just get some threat, just to bring the attention away from my units. And maybe he'll come after the tank, get out of the building, come after the tank, and allow me to like decimate him. So my units are trying to just regroup. Senac comes in the middle. 9-2, got to get him up in the front, getting the job done. That's what the French Foreign Legion does. Get up there, take care of the job, and clear him out before anything happens. Renault's backing him up. Got a couple broken units to attend to. LaFleur hopefully will be getting them in also. I'm not sure why that sniper's open because I don't roll any snakes. So we'll continue. I got some half squads on the right hand side. Again, this is to help deter these guys from coming in. I'm going to get my fire shots. Where's my epic? Oh, here it is. Sorry. I'm still going to be able to obtain some of my shots coming through here. Hopefully, yeah, it's my movement phase. So my guys will be here and here. So I might get a couple shots. I got a shot on the mortar here. 2 no modifiers. I'll take it. And then this other guy, the half squad behind him, will take shots. Even if it's a 1-2, 1-1, doesn't matter. You just need to slow him down. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the range, so he won't be able to leave any residual, which is actually a huge difference. So let's continue with the game. Again, turn 4, advanced fire phase. So, let me click that. Again, that tank is way in the back, turn 4. That's not where I want that tank to be. That was a huge problem for me. It's just a giant error. Just move them in platoon movement up to the front. Once they get up there, split them at that point. If they don't want to split at that point, they fail their task check and the other guy's fine. At least he's right there in the front. He really can't do anything in the back. And if a tank is just sitting in the middle of the road, it allows your infantry to get up there and get in his face. Like if a tank was like sitting right here, or even right here, that allows these troops to get up to that wall with impunity, or actually even right back here, because units go here, and then well, you could possibly jump on the wall. But that's kind of the idea behind that. They provide cover, and they'll provide harassing fire to maintain DM status. And again, my guys, for some reason, they're pinning, and these are all like 2 -1 shots, 2 even shots against 8 morale units, and he's not rolling anything special. He's rolling about mid-range shots, just getting a normal morale check on him, and I'm just not passing my morale checks at this time. But I have lots of leaders in all those locations, not a problem. So we've got his units that are setting up off board at the top. Lots of guys coming in, and this is what I was afraid of. I've got a tank here, 2 machine gun factors. It's going to cover this area over here a little bit, maybe even F8, because this tank here has got LOS right down that row. He's got it right down this hex spine to E10, so he can drop some residual and maybe some of these hexes here. So F8 would be a good one to make him bypass, you know, whatever. Well, being ASL, you can bypass the hexes, but you never know. You never know where he wants to go. So again, harassment. He needs to be harassed. Let's bring those units back on the screen. Again, most of my units on the front, I'm not going to bother with these guys on the bottom anymore. They're just harassing shots. So we're going to focus on the top up here. Turn 4 axis. So the French have 4 turns to clear the axis out of the building. And just getting into position now. It might be kind of crazy. I don't really think my troops are in the best position, but we're gonna try. We're gonna give it a try. And the bouncing ball again has a tendency to screw things up. I do get a long shot on that guy. No effect. I think I roll like a 5 or something like that. Just checking LOSs. Actually, the LOS checks to see if they lose concealment. That's the idea there. And if they lose concealment, and if they're within 8 hex range, I can then fire on them. So it might be beneficial to him, instead of coming on with concealment, is just lose it straight away. Therefore, I don't get the free check and possibly the free shot. Just lose it, because you're going to be entering LOS very soon anyway. Don't give your opponent that free check, free LOS check. Pretty much, if you know you're going to be exposed anyway, it's not a big deal. He starts falling back into the building, which is normal. I actually thought his 8-0 may have fell back a little early, but he doesn't. Actually, no, it's not. He's got 12 firepower staring right there at him. He just needs to get out of there. He did his job, put down a couple fire lanes. Didn't really do much, but you know, that's all you can get. Actually break a unit there. He pins me, I guess, in the advanced fire phase. This is the mortar in the back, just doing harassing fire. And then, yeah, it's still advanced fire. I think that sniper kills him. I may have gotten a task check or something like that. Activates a sniper, and he killed that half squad, that broken half squad that was out in the middle of the street. Unfortunately. So, but that's what the half squad's for. It's case safe Steniak. All these guys are DM'd in the back. Let's see what he's got there. So we got one. His medium's DM'd. He's a concealment counter. He's got a leader and probably squad light squad. But those are all on ground level. And that guy's they should be on ground level. I think the level 2 counters might be missing there. So again, mortar shots, just pop, 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 up fire on these guys, just in case these guys want to lose their concealments. This guy here, and he's got, you know, 16 there. He's got a guy in front of him, and I'm going to grab wall advantage. Probably just jump in close combat. I've got 2 squads. Half squad tries to jump on the side. Fire from his half squad. 2-2, of course. You should be able to take that shot, and he does take it with a dice roll of 3, which eliminates him. Not fun. My other half squads, you know, are there, trying to make their way over, trying to do like a little right flank hook, because he's only got the half squad there, and if I can get 2 or 3 squads on that side, I can enter the building pretty much unopposed. That's the plan there, and I needed to still pepper these units there. He sets down to the fire lane, not too concerned about, and then of course, you know, I roll a 9 on my morale check yet again, unfortunately. Tank moves to another position off the board and tries to get behind him. Again, to set up my plan for the DM so he can't route back towards me. He has to stay up at the front, and the bouncing ball, of course. All of his final fires comes and go. Advanced fire, rolling 10s and 8s. It's not really going to get the job done. I really wish they happen to be encircled. Why are they encircled? I fired my machine gun here at a 1 firepower. Down through this direction. Down through this direction here. And then I either fired this op fire guy here, or this unit here, to surround him. So I probably just fired the tank, and there's this unit here to op fire. You have to fire them sequentially, You've got to fire one shot, then two shots, then he's encircled in the second shot. And so that would reduce his morale, which is what you need. And essentially that's like a little peninsula on that building. So he's encircled, his leader breaks, he's got one squad in there. He's actually only got one squad in there now. Yeah, just the single squad. The other guy's in the back. I guess I can move adjacent to the building to DM that unit, but again, there's no infantry support back there. He could just jump him and jump back in the building pretty easily. I don't want that to happen. Again, I just need him to DM units. I think he self-breaks and routes away. Oh, I think we checked LOS on that, to be honest with you. Let's just back that up. Okay, maybe the LOS string doesn't come out. So he self-breaks, and of course I can't see the LOS. Yeah, barely clips the building, so that will allow him to route to that side, and then I don't even think he sees me at that point either, so he still doesn't see me. But anyway, we can continue to move from there. Very close LOS, by the way. And he just essentially goes up to the first level. My half squad's on the right-hand side. You see him here. They're just moving forward. That half squad, I'm not concerned with. Really not concerned with, because these guys, again, the half squads on the right-hand side are essentially going to be the same thing as the tanks. I'm using these half squads as I would the secondary tank over here to get into decent positions. So if I'm in that position here, if I'm in this position here, I'll have LOS to G6, F8, and F4. So nobody can then route to F5. If I have a guy here and here, when he breaks, he has to stay in those locations. What do you see about those locations? Both of those locations are stairwells. So if he breaks in the stairwells, my guys can easily get to them instead of having to go up and then go over. They go straight up the stairwells and run into broken units. They can't route, they die. And that's pretty much how I have to win it. You have to break them and then have them cut off the route pass so they don't bounce around the building, and then finish them off. So it's kind of nice that it is wooden buildings. I got to be honest with you. It was a fun scenario so far, and we are going to. Oh, let me put some guys on the board. I've got my array of units here. Turn 5, I'm kind of where I want to be. Like I said, turn 5, I'm probably going to be about where the building is. I was hoping to be maybe one more hex closer in on the building, or maybe at least one guy in the building. The guys that I was moving to get to those locations were all shot. Got to roll 3 on a half squad. The sniper took another squad, another half squad out. So I'm lost like probably 3 units, 4 units to Ks and K2s and things like that. So I've lost probably 2 squads for really low rolling shots or snipers that broken units already. That cost me at least 2 units. I'd at least have a unit in F4, F3, or E4. And that's huge, because if they're here, then they simply advance in and then hopefully can withstand, you know, a 12 or 16 chart. 16 plus 2 is an average roll, gets a 1 morale check, and a 7 just pins me. So what? He's not going to engage him in close combat, because I've got Senak right here with his big boy right here. He just blasts him right back. He's just not going to go in close combat. He doesn't need to. He just needs to stay away from me. And so I think Senak was doing his job. I think anything Senak pretty much shot at was getting scared or broken. I mean, I'm breaking some of his units, and that's all I can do. But it's just when my units move, anytime they move, they get shot, and they just don't sustain those shots. This guy here, he breaks up in a half squad. Again, here's where he starts deploying, and then he's going to spread out. A lot of low rolls. I got a fanatic on that French Foreign Legion guy. Now he's got 9 morale. Now he's going to the base level over there. Again, this half squad fires on him, leaves some residual so nobody else can run in there for free. And he starts just meandering guys in the building. I think level 1, base level. Again, but I still have access. I've got access here. This guy's at level 1, broken. He's probably going to advance up and get this guy. He doesn't have a lot of guys in here. I mean, he might have 2 squads. You know, 2 squads there. He's got probably squad now, 2.5 squads there, and 1 squad there. Not really a lot of guys. Not a lot of guys, but he's got to take those. He's got to take those point blank shots, and go for that. So I think I continue to try and DM these guys. No, I think this is his turn. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, advanced fire phase, access turn. And my guys are rolling 9s for the task checks and rolls. So again, the bounce, I'm not sure. You don't really need to use the you don't really need to use the counter. Say, oh, this guy's gonna fire at this guy. Just say, you know, the 248 across the street, 248 and D6. You know, just 248 and D6. I know where D6 is. You're only working on one board. But if you're always clicking like this, then when your enemies, when I'm planning my attack or he's planning him attack, and I'm like clicking like this, it could possibly bounce his board around, as you see here. And when you're reviewing when you're planning your next strategy, when he's doing his advancing or whatever, then it just takes you out of it, because now he just essentially moved. It's like reading a book and then somebody comes by and pushes the book out of the way. So now you got to catch up what paragraph you were on. So that's I love the feature. I mean, you know, if it's it can be useful at times, but just don't overuse it. Just state the hex H3, G4, G2. You know, G2 half squad. I mean, it's pretty straight. It's pretty straightforward. So anyway, yeah, throw some units up front. Other guys kind of go up to the first level, and this is probably my prep fire. Nope, close combat phase. That's for concealment denial, and of course I don't see it because of the building right about there. So some of these guys getting concealment. His leader's broken, so he has a squad and a half there. So I have to take advantage. Of those cases, but he gets concealment, which is great. So it makes it more difficult for me to jump into close combat. I don't really want to jump in close combat. I guess I could, because close combat's not in good order. I prep Senak. I think I might have sprayed fire the MMG there. Don't get a result on him, unfortunately. These other units start popping up. Again, he drops another fire lane. He drops another 4 on me, and K's that unit. So that's probably 2 squads that were eliminated from K, really low K results. There he rolls. What does he roll up on that guy? Let's see. He rolls a 4 there. I don't know what he rolls there. Anyway, his rolls are good. I'm trying to get some guys in the building, and at this point, when these guys, you know, start kind of blowing up, these guys are making the morale checks. Fortunately, except for him, you know, after he final fires on me, my tank finally gets the gumption to join the fight. A little bit too late, to be honest with you, because I needed to stop them from routing, as you saw. All these units either here or here routed backwards, and then when I fired on him, he routed back the other way, and so I needed the tank coupled with the other half squads. And see, his German half squad's still here. This guy should be dead, but my guy got killed trying to cross the street. He was trying to cross the street like a road dash, going across there. Gets killed. I think it was a 1-2. So but that's what you deal with when you're doing half squads. If you have full squads, he's going to make it across. Half squads, a K, he's gone. But a full squad, K, he still makes it across the street. So that's the issue we're doing there. We were just catching Ks. So now as the assault starts on the phase, again, he routes back. And once he goes there, I just keep him DM'd. And now his guys are essentially just central in the building. Just central in the building. And I'm in the building now. Maybe a little too late. It's the end of the axis turn 6, so might be a little bit too late. And so I'm getting some firepower on this side, so I could fire him at maybe level 2. Level 1, I can't see that guy, but if I go up to level 1, the medium machine gun, then I could see over the building at E4, and then rain hell upon this guy right here. So level 1 on this building on the right hand side, because it's a multi-story building, or it's a 2-story building, not a multi-story building. It's a 2-story building. They get up on level 1 and shoot those guys that are hiding at level 1, because I can't see them through E4 at ground level. So the guys are in position. They're just in position, and then he starts sort of like doing the little curly shuffle and throwing guys around the building because they have to get there in 2 turns. I think I have. What do I have? I got Senak, 1 squad, 2 squad, 4 squads, 5.5 squads out of 12.5 left. 5.5 squads out of my starting 12.5. Well, there's 1 there, and there's a half squad there. So yeah, I've taken about 50% casualties, pretty brutal. And none of it's due to close combat. All of it's just due to fire. Just K results. Just K results. So LaFleur breaks over there at level 1. Again, to DM that guy. And so he continues to try and punish me. I prep fire there. Tank comes back around the back side to get the encirclement. Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to get that encirclement there. Let's see. I'm not bypassing that building. I'm bypassing F6. So he is on that hex, not that hex. So he's okay. He's bypassing F6. I know it gets cluttered, and this is the big problem. This is the big problem with when you have scenarios that are just jammed full. So, but probably a little bit too late. Too little, too late on the AFV. He's got a stack of units. Essentially what it does is reduces my number of shots to draw effective damage on him in like 2 or 3 rolls versus like 4 or 6. If I had them there at turn 5, I'd have 6 rolls on him. If I get them there at turn 7, I've got half the rolls, maybe 3. So not really effective. And he has a giant stack here. Is that in a stairwell hex? It is. So he can combine levels, although he doesn't, for a fire group here, to fire my units as they're coming up the stairwell. Good position for that. He's just dropping down residual, so it's cost my guys to get up through those levels. And my guy gets across. He gets the whole way up to level 2. So hopefully I'm trying, one guy is going to go straight up, come over, and then come down, and the other guy's going to come up from the bottom and then work their way up. So we're going to try and do this to the Germans, so he can't go up. If my guy's in the middle of that building, if my guy ends up right here, the 468, none of his units can route up. They can only route back. They only got one spot to go, back in that F5 building hex. So if I get him up to level 2, that I can get to G5 to cut all that level. I mean, this is, he can't do anything here. The only place he can do is route up and then go to F3, you know. And so that's all really I can do, is hopefully for some breaks. Again, these are that's 4 firepower from that tank right here. That's a 4 firepower shot. Oops. A point blank on those guys. Only at first level. I don't think he could shoot at the second level. I think he could only shoot at first level at adjacent hexes. So, but that's the plan. I think he gets up to level 2. I mean, I was excited about that. I think he's subsequently first fired. The other guy does the same thing. Goes right through all that residual. 8 morale factor. Running through that residual with a +2 building shouldn't be a problem. It just should not be a problem. One guy's TI for some reason. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe I searched just to make sure he doesn't have any hidden guys in the building. I don't know why he's TI, but you know, my guys just run through that residual. Not a problem. 8 morale, +2 building. Burn right through it. Ignore residual. Oh my goodness. And so we're getting close. We're getting close to the end here. It is ally turn 7. I got to jump this guy in the back. It's kind of like a big giant hex. The giant hex of Germans. Pretty much I've shoved them in the back. Again, 1 or 2 turn delay is costing me. And the tank, again, far too late getting back there. So I think I just charge all my guys in this section over here. It looks like first fire, subsequent first fire on that second turn. Again, 2 my guys break. You know, what are you going to do? When my morale checks are, let me see, my morale check 11 and a 6, he rolls a 3 and a 6 and a 6 and a 4. So all those are level 1, maybe level 2 morale check. And when you're rolling 11s, 9s and 11s, you're just not going to make them. So at this point, I have 2 squads left. He's broken. And this pretty much is probably going to be the coup de grace on my French units. Those guys needed to survive those easy shots, and they did not. So I think he moved up to level 2. He moved in. Again, there's that spot that I wanted to cut him off at, and also with the other French there, actually Germans there, just to cut him off that location. But I don't really think it matters. All my units are broken. I think we're just kind of like rolling the dice out here at the end. Got to go for it. That's the end of the log file. Again, I end up losing this one here. He jumped in the building, got up to the building, and bounced back. Did some good shots like he needed to get to. I think my guys got to the building just too late. I really think they did, and they didn't pass any real morale checks. They didn't pass the morale checks they needed to. I mean, everyone that got shot out in the open pretty much got CR'd or just broke, and so that delayed a lot of my troops getting into the building. My 248 on the side over here, you know, when you're taking a 1 down 2 or 2 down 2 and he rolls a 3, there's nothing you can do about that. But I moved my medium over here to give me a lot more firepower, and it gives me 2 shots, you know. So I lose a half squad. I substitute with a 4.58 and a medium machine gun, which is essentially 4 firepower and 2 shots. And even if they cower, they're still going to DM things. So pretty much he replaced those half squads on the side. So I really didn't lose much over there. Did it delay me a little bit? Sure. Yeah, it delayed me a little bit. Got a leader over there trying to do his magic. But for all intents and purposes, he did his job. He did his job as the Germans, getting those guys going. And my tank not passing that task check again. Me not using platoon movement early probably hurt a lot more, because these units that were DM'd would have been exposed to more firepower. Like if he had to stick right here, and I could just simply move the big boy over in this location or this location, the 9-2 Senac. Where is he? Oh, I think he was broken. Oh, he's broken and wounded, so he's having a bad day. Senac over here, he actually never has to enter the building. He just destroys people that are on the outside. So didn't turn out so good. Fun game, great opponent, and he did what he needed to do. He took smart shots. He took smart subsequent first fire shots, and he had good setup areas and good coverages. He did what he needed to do. I tried to do what I wanted to do. Just didn't work out for us this time. So try this one out. It is in the new GUERRE module number 2. If you should happen to have it. If not, you might have those $400 module of GUERRE number 1. Then play that one there. I'm not sure what the balance is on this, but I didn't feel that was too bad. Again, I didn't even do the half squad strategy where you just build, like, you have 22 half squads on the board and you just throw them all forward, and if they break, you know, you rally them up and everyone keeps running. It turns into a French human wave. But it was fun, good game. Not a big fan of the snow, because it's like ground snow, so it's just kind of ground. It's not really ground snow. But I just think I wish this was just a little grayer, because, you know, when you have a giant monitor or whatever, it's just all white. You know, you get the white on the right side. You know, you get the same white over here that you do over here. If there's a partition that you can have, like, the background set off to like an egg white, but you can't. I think there's only white and like dark colors. I tried changing them before, so you only have the white. There's no other shades of white in the VASL palette. So great game. Give it a shot. Let me know what your thoughts are on this one. Let me know if you've played this one. This is an old scenario. This one's like, Jesus, 22 years old, because that's the reprint time that it took MMP. 1998, I think, is GUERRE came out. So it's been around for 22 years. I know someone out there has played it. Tell me your thoughts on this one. How you won as the Germans. How you won as the French. Did you get diced? Did you dice them? How did you use the tanks? Tell me how you used the tanks in this one. Again, I don't think their main gun has very much value. So the only value I see is maybe going for that long shot critical hit. You could go for that. If the guys aren't broken, yeah, you fire your main gun. Fire your main gun. If they break, then switch to your machine guns. As long as your coaxial machine gun is firing at the same location where you have the acquisition, it won't lose the acquisition. So you can alternate. So when he rallies them, then punch him with the main gun. When you break him, pop him with the machine gun. As long as they stay right there. I think it's the hex. I'm not sure if it's the location. I think it's the hex. Find it out. Let me know what you guys find out about acquisition, whether or not you keep them on different levels or it's through the whole hex. So, but that's a key note to know, is that you can fire the coaxial, and then you could fire the main armament as well at the same location, as long as the coax doesn't change target locations. So with that, I'm going to bid you good night, and thank you for watching VASLing with Stu. Take care.